When I was 10 years old, I was sitting in class, and I remember a new student joined us one day, and she was wearing a Sailor Moon t-shirt. I was obsessed with Sailor Moon at the time, but no one else around me was really that into it, so when I saw her arrive to class with that t-shirt, I immediately thought, we're going to be best friends. I was so excited, and I went up to her and said, "You like Sailor Moon too?" And we became best friends. We were glued to the hip and spent all our time together. I was very fortunate when I was younger to have grown up with not only one, but 3 really close friends that I considered my best friends. I did not have a happy childhood, so this was the first time in my life that I remember being happy and having so much fun with friends. The first time I ever made friends was in kindergarten, and it was not a good experience. It was me and 2 other girls, and one of them would always get jealous when me and our other friend would talk or hang out. So one day at school, the jealous friend had said something to our mutual friend, and when I came out to see them at recess, my friend looked pretty upset with me and she ignored me to my face. The jealous friend covered her face and started laughing. I knew right then that the jealous friend had said something to her to get her not to talk to me anymore. I had no clue what was said, but I suspected the jealous friend might have even lied about something to upset her. Because to this day, I cannot think of what I did or said that could have upset our friend so much. But I remember that day I tried to ask her so many times what was wrong and what I could do to make it better. She just continued to ignore me and looked away, avoiding eye contact with me. And from that day forward, I never spoke to her again. I was so heartbroken and traumatized by that whole experience. Being ignored to my face by my friend for something that I didn't know what I did was very painful. I felt completely rejected. It felt like I was not good enough to even have friends. So this made me fearful of making friends and getting close with anyone. I had the belief that people will hurt you, so I didn't trust people very easily. But time went on and I slowly started to make friends again. And this was when I started to get closer with my best friends and was able to have some solid friendships in my life for the first time. I felt like I was finally accepted. But as we got older, more life experiences happened and it tested our friendship. I was in my first long-term romantic relationship that was unhealthy and dysfunctional, that took up a lot of my time and mental energy. My other best friend was also preoccupied with her boyfriend, with the natural ups and downs of their relationship. And my other best friend tragically lost her mom, and I didn't know how to be there for her. Let's just say I started to go through an existential crisis, and I didn't know how to be there for anyone, let alone my best friends. It felt like we were all going through a very transitional period in our lives, and it made us grow apart rather than together. I was so attached to staying together as friends like it used to be, but I realized that no matter what we did, we were just growing apart. We stopped having fun like we used to. Things were different now. I was so confused and hurt about all the changes, but it felt too vulnerable to talk it through with my friends. I didn't want to deal with the confrontation of our friendship falling apart because I was afraid of feeling rejected again. So I avoided it at all costs and let the friendship slowly fade away. It was challenging because there wasn't any moment or event that happened that changed everything. It was just a slow drifting apart, with fewer phone calls in between and less time spent together. We were all headed our separate ways, and I didn't know how to deal with the changes. During this time, I had also found out that one of my best friends had broken my trust. in such a way that it added another layer of our group growing apart. I felt so angry and betrayed by her that I didn't know if I could ever forgive her. But after some time, for the sake of our group, I decided that I would be civil with her so that the others wouldn't feel uncomfortable about the situation. Eventually, though, she moved away out of town, and that was when I knew that that would be the end of our group. In a way, I was relieved because I didn't realize how angry and bitter I still was at her. But at the same time, I was sad about losing my friends and what we had. I didn't realize it at the time, but I had to grieve the loss of our friendship. I've had many friends come and go in my life, but this one hit hard because I felt like they were my family, that they were my sisters from another mister. I was never very close with my family, so this felt like the family that I got to choose and felt accepted by them. Initially, I didn't let myself grieve because I tried to suppress the pain as much as I could. I was never really someone who was emotionally intelligent. I tried to avoid pain and run away from it. And because I naively believed at the beginning that we were going to be best friends forever, I didn't realize that I needed to grieve this loss. You don't really hear people talk about this as much, that sometimes it's no different from a breakup or losing a family member. What I came to learn about friendships is that it's natural to grow apart and that it's okay. It doesn't mean that anything went wrong or that it was anyone's fault, or there could have been someone or something to blame. And it didn't mean anything about me or about my friends. Sometimes we just go our separate ways, and it's a natural part of life. No matter how hard I tried to hang on and keep things the way they were, there was really nothing I could do about it, and I had to learn to accept that. I've learned that some friendships that are more difficult to navigate are here to help you learn, even if it's not always a positive experience. Like my friend who broke my trust was here to teach me about boundaries and forgiveness. And despite the challenges that came up with that friendship, I would not have been able to learn it without her help. I still appreciate the friendship and the good times we had together, but it was also not meant to be forever. I've learned that sometimes our closest friends can be our biggest teachers. I also realized that I was afraid to be vulnerable, and I thought that I needed to hide myself in order to be accepted. Because I had this big fear of rejection always in the back of my mind, I was afraid they wouldn't like me if they found out who I really was. So I always tried to be the fun, outgoing, and happy person, even though I felt like it wasn't really me. And maybe because I kept things on the surface and avoided vulnerability, that's why one of my friendships couldn't fully pass the tests of life. I used to naively think that having best friends meant that they were supposed to last forever, like in the movies and TV shows. But I've come to realize that there are many different reasons for having friends, and that they may come and go in your life, even if it's just for a season. Luckily, my best friends were in my life for my older childhood and teenage season of my life, where I needed them the most, and I am forever grateful that I got to have them in my life at that time. But now I also accept that life happens and things change. And although some of my best friends are not in my life anymore, that's okay. I can deal with the changes now because I've let go of the attachment of the best friend forever mindset and learned to appreciate the friendships in my life while they're here. And if it does end up lasting forever, that's a bonus. If you find yourself navigating through an evolving friendship and it's growing apart, know that it's completely normal and it's not some sort of failing on your part. Not at all. I wish someone would have told me that not all close friendships last forever, and that it's natural for people to grow apart because it would have saved me a lot of confusion and heartache. And remember to give yourself the space and time to grieve if you need to. Don't be afraid to deal with the emotional pain because it'll only be temporary, and that's the real work that needs to be done to have peaceful acceptance. Not everyone is meant to stay forever, and that doesn't make the love or time shared any less real. And when old friendships fade, space is created for new ones to come into a new season of your life.